For more than half of my life, I've dreamed of Ireland. Drawn to it in a way I can't explain. At first it was the obvious, the scenic beauty, the music, the Guinness. Then over time, it became so much more. The vibe, the people, the history, and that's what hooked me. Also, clearly, I am not actually an Irishman.
Too sexy pose.
But on April 1st, 2026, the dream becomes a reality as I close up shop in the Smith Hole and take off on the adventure of my lifetime. Over the course of a year, I'll hike that beautiful island and tell its story, town by town. Each town I stop in, I'll conduct an interview in a pub with people that can tell the story of that particular town while discovering all the things. All the things you're supposed to do in Ireland, then all the things you don't know, like where the locals go. Basically, I'm going to try to make friends with an entire country. And if that goal doesn't sound lofty enough, I'm also going to attempt to learn the Irish language. If you'd like to support the project, basic Patreon support is only $3 a month. And if you're Irish and want to help me network and act as a liaison, hit me up. This is a huge bucket list goal, and I need all the help I can get. The Smitty Learns Irish PubCast begins April 2026, and I can't wait. Sláinte. And welcome to my home, aka the Smith Hole. My name is Nate or Smitty. If you consider yourself a friend, by all means, please call me Smitty. I consider you a friend just for being here. And this is where I am going to learn Irish. The Smitty Learns Irish PubCast starts April 2026. I'm going to fly to Ireland from the United States and spend a year hiking every part of Ireland, small towns, big towns, things nobody knows about, the big things, all the things Irish, and I'm going to learn the Irish language as well. On this channel, this is the very first original material I'm posting on this channel. I am simply going to create conversations about Irish things. Today, we're going to have Irish Book Club. But not reactions. I don't want to say that. I do reactions on my other channel, on the podcast channel. But this is not necessarily reactions. This is just a way to create a conversation about Ireland and Irish history and Irish music and all things Irish. And today, like I said, it is the feckin' book of everything Irish. But not only that, I have one but two copies. I don't know who got which one, but my mother, the beautiful Colleen Smith, got me this one for Christmas, and then my great friend Lynn gave me this just through the mail from Arizona. She shipped it to me, and it was super nice of both of them. So I'm like, you know what? For every recording I do, I'm going to switch books because I couldn't pick which one. I didn't want to hurt anybody's feelings, so I'm going to switch books between recordings. So this recording will be, let's start with Mom. Let's start with Mom, shall we? The feckin' book of everything Irish. And the way I'm going to record these, I don't know how I'm going to present this yet. I do have a Patreon that I'm going to try to throw extra content on before the pubcast actually starts. But again, this is not a reaction. I'm just simply going to read the book. I don't think I'm going to read it out loud. I don't really know what to expect yet from this book. I haven't given it a look. But I'm going to read the book. And again, just pipe up and chime in when I have a question or something sparks my curiosity or whatever. Create the conversation, like I said. So I'm just going to record for about an hour each time and see where this goes. That being said, oh my God, start Irish Book Club. Again, I'm just going to read. I'm not going to read the whole thing aloud. I want to stress that. I will not be reading this thing aloud. That is not the point here. Just whenever something creeps into my brain, the feckin' book of everything Irish. And I know I did want to start by reading this forward, this inside cover information portion. Who the fuck wrote this, by the way? Sorry, I say fuck a lot. And Irish people usually are okay with that. Colin Murphy and Donald O'Day. Hopefully I'm saying that somewhat close to correctly. A Gansey load of deadly crack for cute oors and bowsies. Already, you got me baffled. And this is a great little introduction for me to talk about my mindset going into the Smitty Learns Irish PubCast again in 2026. Sure, you have a soft spot in your heart for the Emerald Isle. You drink your Guinness fresh pulled and tepid. You wear the green on St. Patrick's Day, and you get all choked up when you hear the chorus of Danny Boy. So here's the thing. I've fallen in love over time with Ireland and started with the music and St. Patrick's Day. But there's a caricature of it an Americanized caricature version of Ireland that I really can't stand. Leprechauns and things. I don't hate it. It's just the thing, like, I don't want to go to Ireland and talk about leprechauns or pots of gold or things. There's mythologies and things I'm going to talk about, but I don't want to be that American is probably the best way to put it. Anyway, let's continue. But there's more to Irish culture than just shamrocks and leprechauns and getting bollocks and acting like an idiot on St. Paddy's Day. It's also my favorite that the Irish use the word idiot. I thought only Bugs Bunny used that word for the longest time. Favorite word, maybe of all time. If you're ready to expand your knowledge and take the next step to becoming a 100% bona fide Irish person, I would never, ever dream of such a thing. This is the book for you, boyo. Also will not ever attempt an Irish accent. Never happen. The feckin' Book of Everything Irish is a rollicking, no-holds-barred tour of genuine Irish culture as experienced through its music and food, and especially its unique way with words, which I'm falling more and more in love with. The 4 chapters in this book are veritably heaving with Irish slang words and phrases, quotes by famous Irish wits, rousing Irish songs for your next hoolie, and authentic recipes that'll make you all one proud. Man, sorry, so much to learn. We've also included a brief history of sex and love in Ireland, which goes a long way toward explaining why the Irish have such a feckin' wicked sense of humor. So don't just stand there like a cow looking over a whitewashed wall. Get to reading. You'll be arseways with laughter in no time. I didn't know how much of this book was funny or historical. I don't know. I didn't want it to be necessarily a caricature sort of book. You know what I mean? But let's continue, shall we? Should I read the introduction? I'll read the introduction. Welcome to Ireland, laddie. For anyone who claims to have even the tiniest drop of Irish blood flowing through their veins, which I never claimed until I just found out recently from my parents that I do have at least a little bit of Irish. I don't claim to know how much. I do plan to find out during the PubCast, though. And sure don't we all thank God. This book provides the ultimate collection of everything you'll need to take those final few steps into becoming a full-fledged, bona fide 100% Irish person. There'll be shenanigans aplenty ahead as we take you on a no-holds-barred laughter-filled tour of almost every nuance of Irish culture. Discover how feckin' deadly, not to mention manky, Irish slang can be. Have a gander at some of these words and phrases and you'll soon realize precisely why they're gas crack altogether. Take a peek under the skirts of sex and love in Ireland through the ages and find out about everything from Ireland's most lustful man to why cling film was a vital lovemaking accessory in Ireland in the 70s. And of course, to really be in tune with what it is to be Irish, you have to know her music, which I am falling in love with a lot over on the other channel. You'll find the words to over 25 of the most famous and beloved songs like The Banks of My Own Lovely Lee, Galway Bay, and Irish Rover, just to name a few. So the next time you hear Danny Boy being played, you won't have to stand there humming quietly to yourself in the corner. You can now sing along as badly as everyone else. And finally, to further whet your appetite for learning about the wonders of Irish culture, we've included some of the most famous and delicious Irish recipes ever conceived. Good, because I'm going to fucking try to make that stuff at home. There's Dublin Coddle, Boxy, Kilcannon, Fruit Black, Bread Pudding, which I don't ever want. I know I'm going to eat it. No, wait, Blood Pudding, I was thinking. Black Velvet, and many more. And if any of this food makes you feel as rough as a bear's arse, you can go ahead and bite the back of my bollocks. So whether you're a fine dorful of a woman or a man so mean you'd steal the sugar out of someone's tea, stop foostering about and get ready to reveal the inner Irish in you. You'd be right, Egypt, not to. Are these guys that wrote this Irish like full-fledged Irish? Because I'm going to be fucking mad if they're not. I'm like, because I don't want to hear about Ireland from an American. There's American, look, and I do to an extent. I don't want to say that by and large. If Americans are telling you where to go, hey, I went here, check that out. That's fine. But if they're trying to like give you inside info about Ireland and about the inner workings of the place, don't. You know? I want to hear it from Irish people. Chapter 1, Words and Phrases, for when you go on the batter with a shower of savages. Acting the maggot. Fooling about in a somewhat boisterous man. am I supposed to fucking try to read this with an Irish accent? I don't want to do that. I am not. I feel like if I nailed an Irish accent, anytime I've ever really tried aloud to myself, I'm like, that's stupid. And I'm never going to do that in front of Irish people. I think is it rude? It's got to be, right? And just like, oh, Jesus Christ. Unless you're just like having a fucking good time bullshitting or having the crack, as you might say. Anto. I'm reading Irish slang in an American accent. Sounds probably dumber. I cannot do an Irish accent. Anto, will you stop acting the maggot and give the... Oh, man. They should have included an audiobook for this shit, and we could have just listened to the audiobook together. Acting the maggot and give the old wand back her wheelchair. I do a pretty good job, actually, of... I think I watch Banshees of Inisherin a lot, and... a pretty good job of picking up all the slang. I feel like that was a pretty thick Irish accent that they were portraying in that movie, and I picked it up pretty good without subtitles or anything. Arseways. What is that? Mishmash? Complete disarray? It's arseways. My car has been arseways since I ran over that pedestrian. Oh, I'm going to just fall into an Irish accent, I think, on accident. From Oscar Wilde, who is Irish. The English have a miraculous power of turning wine into water. Ate a baby. I ate a baby's arse through the bars of a cot. Oh, fuck, I'm sorry. My Irish always turns Scottish, and vice versa. And then there's British thrown in, some Cockney. Which, by the way, is Cockney a slur? You know, are you supposed to say that? I feel like I heard it maybe once. And I was like, am I saying the right thing if I say Cockney? That's a real accent, right? See, also... ate an old wand's arse through a blackthorn bush. Ate the arse off a farmer through a tennis racket. Fucking A. Which means I'm very hungry. Giving birth was so exhausting I could have ate a baby's arse through the bars of a cot. Man. It's, again, way with words, you know. Poets and storytellers. I'd ate the tires off the truck that brought her knickers to the laundrette. If I just read Irish accents as redneck, that could be really funny. I'd ate the tires off the truck that brought your sister's knickers to the laundrette. It just fucking works. Hey, look, Appalachia is 100% mostly Irish descendants. Where the fuck do you think that banjo and country bluegrass came from? We might have to make that a rule. From now on, to avoid doing an Irish accent, I will just do a redneck accent. Another from Oscar Wilde. America is the only country that went from barbarism to decadence without civilization in between. Let me think about that shit. Is the only country that went from barbarism to decadence without civilization. Civilization, why can't I get that word out? In between. Yeah. That sounds about right. Expression, away in the head. See also, few brassers short of a whorehouse. How's that not hillbilly? Few brassers short of a whorehouse. She's bent down with a shovel. Face like a full, it's an expression. See also, face like a full skip. Face like a pig licking piss off a nettle. Face like a smacked arse. Ganky, head like a lump of wet wagon. Wet turf wagon, which is better. Wet turf, they burned the turf in Ireland. It's a Galway expression, meaning she's ugly. It's like, fell down it is 100% redneck. Fell down the ugly tree, hit every branch on the way down. I think describing Lucy as having a head that looks bent down with a shovel is being a bit too honest. George Bernard Shaw, quote from him, better late than never, or better never than late. What did I hear recently on I think the Blind Boy podcast, where he said the Irish culture, he said it complimentary, but he said it was kind of nuts about the Irish, where he used the term, it'll be grand, where meaning, that might even be in the book, it'll be grand, where if there's a problem with something, and rather than fret and worry about it, it's like, it's fine. It'll take care of itself. It'll work itself out. It'll be grand. And that's like that. Better never than late. Black stuff is stout, which I am going to become instantly familiar with because I'm like, okay, if somebody says that, they don't mean blood pudding, and it means Guinness, and I'm all for fucking that. Blacker than the inside of a cow with its eyes closed and its tail down. Meaning extremely dark. Ever since she realized she'd slept on me fish and chips, her mood has been blacker than the inside of a cow with its eyes closed and its tail down. Man, I'm sorry. That is super entertaining for me. I'm going to try not laugh every time, but it's going to be fucking impossible, probably. Blarney. Man, what does Blarney mean? Because that's such a frequent term associated with the Irish. There's the Blarney Stone, obviously, which I do plan on. Again, I don't want to do all of those. I do want to do all of those big things in Ireland that you're supposed to do because you're supposed to do them, and I want to experience those things. But I typically want to stray away from mainly like touristy things. But what does Blarney mean? Empty, worthless talk, which I am guilty of every once in a while, as I'm sure you have just figured out. I just blather. That was blather, which is next, and I do tend to blather. Anyway, Blarney means nonsense talk used to charm foreigners. No shit. They say the ghost of Finn McCumhall still stalks the Grand Canal. Buy another round and I'll tell you about it, my American friend. That's what it sounded like when during the Civil War. Like a blue arse fly. Hectic or busy. No shit. I was running around like a blue arse fly and I forgot to pick up Patrick from the pub, so he slept there. Bog trotter. See also Biffo, Culchy, Muck Savage, or Mulchy. A person of rural extraction, and that, my bog trotter friend, is what we call electricity. Oh, this is goddamn fun. Oh, Bowsy. That's what fucking Bowsy meant. How was Bowsy referred to in this book? Because I feel like I just got insulted. What did Bowsy mean? Oh, Bowsy was on the front page. A Gansey load of deadly crack for cute oors and Bowsies. Person, especially male, of very disreputable character, a useless good-for-nothing. Well, hopefully I'm not a Bowsy. Is there anyone in the government who isn't a bleeding Bowsy? No. Box and the Fox. Robbing an orchard, but I was thinking how hilarious that would be if that was a masturbation joke. Box and the Fox. I caught a box in the fox, Your Honor. Breaking one's shite laughing, which is what happens when I imitate Irish people with a redneck accent. What a market I've created. Is that God or cod? It's cod. See also slag. It's a verb. To pull one's leg in jovial fashion. I sentence you to 20 years hard labor. Nah, only cotton. Sorry, you're only fined $50. Euros, probably. Wait a minute. Yeah, Ireland euros? No, wait. Ireland has their own shit. That's not. Yeah, no. Ireland is euros. And then Northern Ireland is pound. They're still pound because of Brexit. Is that right? I think I'm learning that stuff. Every once in a while, I catch a little bit and I retain a little bit of information. It's growing, but. Why so glum? It was the derby last night. My girlfriend my greyhound got constipated. Jesus Christ. Crack. Which I found to be one of my favorite words and just a favorite vibe. You know, the idea that because over here, at least where I'm from, we call it bullshitting. In Ireland, they call it the crack, which is just having a good time and shooting the shit and good vibes. And good humor. And the fact that it is valued as a commodity almost in Ireland is my favorite thing. That's when I was like, oh my God, I relate to these people so much. It's not possible, probably, to feel the same way like a whole country does and not be at least from there a little bit. I don't know. Did you get your G or G? G or G, please, anybody? G or G? Meaning, did you have sex? Did you get your G? I did, in me arse. Oh, no. Again, Egypt is, it goes back to Bugs Bunny. Or I'm just like, you idiot, and that word, I still use to this day, and upon learning that a lot of Irish people, it is really in the major vernacular, the main vernacular, is one of my favorite things. Person of limited mental capacity, incapable fool, complete moron, imbecile. Persons responsible for Ireland's health service. That's funny. You idiot. Erection section, the slow set at a country dance. That's fucking funny. Country dance can't be the same sort of country dance as in the United States because it wouldn't make me want to punch myself in the face. I'm positive. Fanny means female genitals. That Lucy's fanny was as tight as a camel's hole in a sandstorm. Oh, boy. Note, some American visitors have inadvertently caused shock or offense through the mistaken belief that fanny refers to buttocks, as it does in the United States. For example, saying, after that bike ride, I feel like giving my fanny a good rub. May raise some eyebrows if spoken aloud in public. Yeah. Feck, politically correct term for fuck. I think it's the same thing. I think it's just inflection. Or not inflection, it's just a pronunciation thing. Because I guarantee you couldn't say it in the radio in the United States. I was a radio DJ for 15 years. I guarantee you I could not get away with saying feck. It's the same thing. Here we go. Some pronunciations finally. And this is because, again, I'm going to be learning Irish. Pronunciations are so hard. And I picked up a little bit, one term or two, and have really tried to listen to the pronunciations, and it's really in my head embarrassing to myself when I just do it and sit here by myself practicing for whatever reason. Pronunciation, and this is fluhulik. It's an adjective. It means generous. Fluhulik. The counselor was feeling fluhulik after he got his bribe from the property developer. Flothered, having a high blood alcohol ratio. I was so flooded last night, I slept with the missus. Why did I do that old-timey voice? Gee-eyed is another, or is it G-eyed? There's gee, female reproductive organ. I've a pain in me gee to trying to get laid tonight. Gee bag, or is it G? I am so confused. Woman of unpleasant character. My wife's a right gee bag. And then an adjective, gee-eyed, meaning another term for being hammered, having partaken of a large quantity of ale and or spirits. Subject was so inebriated that his eyes have shifted from the normal horizontal orientation. From philosopher Edmund Burke, the march of the human mind is slow. Gobshite, I've heard before. Coming 90 to the dozen. Going 90 to the dozen. Very fast. According to my speed camera, you were going 90 to the dozen, boyo. Gallier. Massive phlegm expelled from the mouth at high speed. I landed at Gallier in the geography teacher's coffee. Have a great time for me is an expression to like a lot. I've always had a great time for Mary's ditties. Oh, Mary had great ditties. Hoolie sounds like a fun word. Raucous celebration involving drinking and singing. And folks, I'm asked to invite you all to a hoolie at Murphy's Pub immediately after Mick's funeral. And by all means, if you ever want to invite me to a hoolie, I will fucking go. George Best, a footballer. I blew hundreds of thousands of pounds on women and drinking. The rest I just squandered. That's funny. How are ya? How are ya? How are ya? That's definitely old-timey. How are ya, see? How about ye? Which is a Northern Irish slang, which is a nice greeting. How about ye? How's about ye? How's the talent? My one buddy was good friends with, he was kind of a carouser. He was always looking for the ladies, you know, even when he had women already with him. But he'd always be like, "There's a lot of talent in here," and I was like, I was always like, "Oh, that's kind of an a-hole thing to say," but yeah, how's the talent? And I guess it is a term for attractive males and/or females, so it can go both ways. If you went to a wedding, he'd stay for the christening, meaning he always overstays his welcome, which the opposite of that is my favorite thing that I always did and do to this day, and that I actually explained to a friend of mine the other day what an Irish goodbye was. I'm pretty sure it is, again, what I practice quite regularly. If I'm at a party, it's because everybody takes forever to say at any sort of like gathering. Everybody takes so long to say fucking goodbye. And you're like, I got to get out of here. You just don't tell anybody you're leaving and pull an Irish goodbye. Also, a great Irish red ale from Right Brain Brewery in Traverse City, Michigan. It's called Irish Goodbye. Quote from Sinead O'Connor, who I was always in love with, and actually learned a lot more about her music on my other channel with the reactions. Her quote, "God created alcohol so that people who look like me could get laid as well." And that's funny, and that's a great sentiment. I appreciate that because, ditto. But I always thought Sinead O'Connor was one of the most beautiful women I've ever seen in my entire life. I just always thought her eyes told such like an amazing story. Honestly, one of the most beautiful women I've ever seen in my entire life. Looking for a dig in the snot locker. I'm about to beat you senseless. When you have an upturned nose like that, you're looking for a dig in the snot locker. That one should have been rednecky. When you have an upturned nose like that, you're just looking for a dig in the old snot locker. Old Juan Mother Orish, which is also Blarney. Top of the morning, Yoki. Okay. I figured this out. Irish. Mythical language and culture used by Americans and British when portraying Irish people. All the shit I've heard, like Blarney, my entire fucking life. Top of the morning to you, all that shit. That's what that pronunciation and example is just the caricature that I told you I was going to try to avoid. So if I make it all rednecky and funny, let's try that. Top of the morning to you, be the Yoki. Do you happen to know me, good sir, where I'd be finding a leprechaun this fine day at all? All right, so now we've kicked some fucking holes in that, and we're going to wrap up recording for this particular video, which is words and phrases. I think the next video will be at least part 2, and look for a follow-up video for either Irish Book Club. We'll do my friend Lynn's copy next time, and then all the other Irish that I need to learn before I actually go learn Irish. So thank you so much. Oh, I could tag it with the only Irish term I know, Gurv Magut. Sláinte.